Hello, hello. The book. Wait, you're not the book of face. You're the tube of you. You're the other place, and I am Katie Z. Whoop. Chaotically yours. You know what? I think that would be a great way for me to just sign off on letters like chaotically yours, Katie Z. I am here to share some nervous system resonance with you, and we're going to have fun. If we haven't met yet, I am a highly neurodivergent human. I had a stroke in 2019, and part of how I healed it is with these tools that I had already been teaching, but I have made them even better because I had to use them to survive. Most of them come from Chinese medicine and are connected into this environment. So I have it printed on some canvas here. This is called the Nijing 2. This is the chart from Chinese medicine that acupuncturists contemplate when they're healing us, that these doctors are contemplating. And this is a very artistic variation of this chart. We can also use it like an X-ray. But I really wanted to bring us into the body today. I have some cards with me. I also brought some sheets from some of the other stuff that I've published because folks have been asking about that, if you wanted to learn some of that as well. But let's pick a card to get started. Ooh, 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 it's the wood snake. We're actually coming into the year of the snake in Chinese cosmology. I am clearly not Chinese. And the year of the snake, the next lunar year. Wood as an element. Wood has a lot to do with how we experience growth and also like absorption. Like what we can take in and how much we need not to have. Of course, snakes have this like amazing ability to move the way their spines go. They're like, so snake implies a lot of mobility and fluidity, as well as being clever. Oh, and my cats should be having their next meltdown at any time. So if you have not yet experienced a kitty cat meltdown, you will soon. I need a cord for my phone. One moment. All right. So I brought a little picture book that I wrote so that we can contemplate some of these ideas. Hi, thanks for being here. Did I get the article about soft tiling? Yes, I did. Sorry, my phone just kind of froze. I got the article about soft tiling. That sent me back into one of the most galactic loops my mind can go into. So I diverted my attention and brought it back to the planet. Sometimes these cosmic ideas are so appealing and attractive. They take me like out of my body and I just end up in this like, I am so comfortable in any dimension that is not physical. I really have to like remind myself that I exist on planet Earth. I'm not, I don't know if that makes any kind of sense. When I'm saying dimensions that are not physical, I mean like dimensions of consciousness, dimensions of creativity, dimensions of math or philosophy. And when I get finally to my body, well, hello, Hypnotic Jason. Thank you. Some people think I'm an asshole. I'm glad you think I'm interesting. I'm highly, highly neurodivergent. My cat's going to have a meltdown. So anyway, so dimensions. So to my mind, somatics or anything having to do with soma must include my actual physical flesh, not just myself, because myself can do all kinds of things without my body being like part of how I'm contemplating what's happening. Hello. I don't want to put that on to anybody else as an experience. And I've worked with enough folks who have dissociative experiences, chronic pain, chronic illness experiences. One of the strategies that many of us end up using is you just kind of have to ignore some things. But not you. I would never ignore you. Oh my goodness. This is Darla. Do you want some water? I will give her let me turn on the tub for her. She has issues in her tissues. Yeah, you have issues in your tissues. Come on. And we're going to do some healing sounds. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Miss Ma'am Darla, the ruler of the roost, as it should be. Oh, here she is again. Well, we're going to do some somatics now. Are you okay with that? Okay. So yeah, so the body, the mind. I'm just saying mind can occur distinct. Most of the time you have no idea what I'm talking about. You know what? Most of the time most people don't. I'm very jargony. So I brought some visual aids today. And the first image I'd like you to contemplate is this one. It's called homeostasis. This is a rendering I made, I think last year, maybe the end of 2022, to contemplate what it might be like to experience this magical state of regulation, nervous system regulation, as a consistent state. It's pretty impossible for that to happen. And this is a lovely way to contemplate it. Homeostasis is something that all biological organisms have as part of what we do, what our bodies do. This is something that happens at the cellular level in our bodies. As like a whole ass human, homeostasis is very challenging because there's always something happening. That was so perfect, but it doesn't make it bad or wrong. I do find that if I'm only looking for everything to be perfectly balanced, I will fail every time, 100%. Whereas if I'm looking for flow, or the Buddhists use this beautiful word, equanimity, where it's not like everything's perfectly equal, but you all have enough. That looks like the disc they found in Egypt. What's that disc? That's exciting. Homeostasis, Darla. One of the most direct ways you and I experience homeostasis is having a regular body temperature. When we get a fever, we would be out of homeostasis in our body temperature. We're not going to do that. She wants to go OUT, SIDE. So I should share that this Tao and the Art of Nervous System Regulation is big ideas with very few words so that you can associate the concepts with art instead of science. Some people really want the science. I got plenty of science. Many folks don't care, to be honest, right? It's a dynamic equilibrium. Yeah. I love that this just opened to this page. This is Shen, SHEN. This is the spirit of our heart, the actual organ, our heart. It's associated with the fire element, which I represent with this brick red color. Some other Chinese medicine folks might have it be a little bit brighter, but red is fire. Shen goes with our heart. So in Chinese medicine, and for many of us who have a systems-based understanding of the world, or if you're in a multiplicity, or if you do any kind of parts work, this is a really great way to add allies to that, because what these Shen do in Chinese medicine is they do the labor. Yeah, so we don't have to do all the effort on the inside. The Shen go off, they're like the sentinels. They go off and they do the work. Genuine, actual, real alchemical Chinese medicine. The way that you and I experience the Shen outside of any condition that might have to do with the heart, because we're talking about the Shen of the heart right now, or maybe like a fever or something fire related in the body, is emotionally through the experiences of joy or like joyful love and hate. Like when you really, really, not like just you right now. No, not like just you right now, but joy and hate. And one of the things I love about Taoism is hate is not bad. Joy is not good. Joy is a positive charge. Hate is a negative charge. Just like you would turn on a light. Okay. You can also contemplate it as like north and south poles, but I like positive and negative charge, the charge for the emotion, not the like subtext or deeper meaning or worthiness or value or moral or anything like that. Tell me. So the sound for the heart that balances these two experiences of joy and hate is HA, H-A, and there's a little movement that goes with it I'd like to share with you if my cat will let me. You gonna let me? Okay. So it's called a healing sound, and we're kind of doing these a la carte right now. If you find a place to exist, I'm sitting on some pillows in my living room. You might be on a chair, on your bed, wherever you are, and that you're noticing that you're on a surface, that you're on something, not just that you're in an environment. As I adjust these, she's having a meltdown, friends. We're going to do this, and then I will pay attention to you. Your heart is on your left side, your actual beating muscle. So when we're like working the heart, harmonizing, however you want to contemplate it, is to expand that area. So we're going to do a nice lean, which then will stretch into the whole of the connective tissue on the side body, which is amazing for an experience of having a body, especially between the front and the back. If your fingers interlace, go ahead and interlace your fingers. They may or may not today, I don't know. So you're going to bring your arms over your head, interlace your fingers, reach your arms up, and then the movement is just to lean. So when you add the breath, you gather joy on the inhale and direct hate on the exhale with ha. So just like inhaling, and it's whatever joy is. It doesn't need to be specific. Exhaling hate with ha. Inhale joy and exhale hate. And the arms come up and down. Let me take a breath. There she goes. So there are 5 organs that are associated with those elements. So it's heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidney. Yes. And these 5 main organs, They're like the deep, visceral aspect of how we experience our entire understanding of nervous system very much. So that deep part of us, like the deep in here aspect, this is where we hold a lot of stress. We might hold trauma in our body. If you've had any kind of trauma to your pelvis, your abdomen, sometimes that can stay for a really long time. Other stuff that's happening here is digestion. You're not going to let me just ignore you, are you? Let us find out what it is she needs. What is it that you need? Do you want food? They're in this thing where they will only eat the wet food fresh out of the can. And it's becoming wasteful, children. Wasteful. Yeah. Oh, no, we're not going there. Yeah, that's not happening, darling. She wants to go OUTSIDE. Not going to happen. So the heart, love and hate. If you, like I, have a hard time naming your emotions, this kind of way of working with feelings and emotions can be really helpful. Not necessarily because the Chinese perspective is correct about where any emotion a human might feel is, but very much, at least for me, and I'm thinking back now, almost 30 years, I don't know what an emotion is. I'm so stereotypically autistic in that way, even though I'm a very feeling person. So when I was first starting to meditate and to learn about mindfulness specifically, like what can I do with this? I don't know where not heaven. I don't know Buddha. I don't know this. I don't know. Somebody tells me, here's your liver. I go, oh, I have a liver. I know right where that is. You know right where your liver is too. It's right here. I lied to you. It's right here. I forgot which way I was facing. And our liver in Chinese medicine is associated with the wood element, or the element of growth and expansion. So the way it works practically, somatically, all of the relationships, especially between the virtues of these elements and these main 5 organs in the body, it creates almost like an interdimensional, transdimensional string art for you and me through our tissues, our consciousness, the actual body, how we understand our body, and the resonant, like whatever the universal resonant frequencies are of our body as the Taoist alchemists understood it thousands of years before acupuncture. That's old. So it all just begins. All you have to do is have a body. And I agree with my friend. I talk too much about that. So let us just do some of these practices. But I'm going to need to make myself some different room here. You're welcome to join if you would like. Of course, you can just watch as well. I apologize if I just made you sick over there by moving the screen. All right, I'm going to take my glasses off. So it's the healing smile and the 6 healing sounds. So there's 7 things total, but it starts with the sense of bum. So if you want to join me, you'll just start to take a couple breaths in through your nose and out of your mouth. You can be moving as much or as little as you want. My face wants me to touch it right now. But just starting to get some breaths in through the nose and out of the mouth. And then connecting onto the surface that you're on, whatever it is, and noticing how it feels. So is it a hard surface? Is it a soft surface? And looking for a felt experience of where you are connecting to what you're on, looking for. You can look for it in your mind. Sometimes you might actually have to look for it, depending on if you're dissociating, right? So we get here first, sense of bum. The healing smile is to bring the tip of your tongue to the ridge behind your upper teeth and smile. That's all it is. As the smile is coming forward, the mind is bringing it towards the body. So if you were looking in a mirror, it's almost as though you're smiling to yourself in a mirror. And you might find that your eyes close. They don't have to. There's also absolutely no need for formality, perfect stillness, perfect posture. It's having a body and smiling. You could even do this lying down if that was better for you today. Then to start directing the smile, the first place you direct it is to your belly, and that is like your low, low belly between where your waistband is, like right about your belly button, all the way down to the base of your torso and into the pelvic bowl. For a lot of us, that's going to feel not great. If that's you today, then you just go back to sense of bum. But to smile down towards the lower part of your torso. And then the second place to smile is to where your heart is, this whole heart area, from the collarbone to the belly button. This is called the crimson palace or the central palace. And when you smile inward towards all of this, you might even imagine smiling to the child on the star bridge who is visualized as fishing with the Big Dipper on the Milky Way, right where your heart would be. So Taoist alchemy even gives us a literal inner child. And the third place to smile is the crystal palace. Crystal palace is the middle of your brain. However you understand that today, if you're tuned to chakras, this will be somewhere between, this will probably be third eye for you if you're in the chakra system. You don't have to feel anything in response. You don't even have to be having like nice thoughts about me or anything right now. It's genuinely to be smiling and then to be directing the smile to your body. Then we can just come out of it with a couple breaths in through the nose and out of the mouth. And I just want to see if anybody has any questions or anything before I do the next, show you the next. I thought I saw some. No. Thank you for all the likes. I really appreciate it. No shit. Yeah. Exactly. 6 healing sounds. I'm going to need a sip of water for this. I do want to promise you, you get a variation of this with anything that you get of mine. Anything that you get at a minimum. At a minimum, there are flashcards. At a minimum. Flashcards. I wanted to show you. All right, we'll do the sounds, then I'll show you the flashcards. But at a minimum, you get the flashcards. There's media as well if you'd like that. But let's do the sounds. So the way the pattern works, it's a pattern. You smile to an organ. You breathe in the good. You breathe out the not good. And then you repeat. We'll do 3 back breaths per organ. Each sound assists with that transformation of the emotional association with the organs. It's okay if you do something different. Totally okay. So we're just going to do it. So come into your sense of bum. I'll be doing the arm movements as well if you want to follow along. You can also just do the breaths. So finding your sense of bum and your inner smile, healing smile. As you contemplate these emotions, this is a simple exchange of gas. So you don't need to become the emotion. We're just having the thought about it. And the first organ is your lungs. Lungs are going to be in your back more than your front. Behind those back ribs, you can smile to your whole back area there. The emotions are grief and courage, and the sound to balance it is an S. So it goes like this. We're going to gather courage on the inhale. Let go of grief with S. Nice and easy, and as much or as little as it makes sense for you today. So inhaling courage. Let go of grief. S. And then one more. Courage. And grief. Let me just take a moment. The next organ is your kidneys. Kidneys are shock and calm. They're associated with the water element. The sound is chew, and it's a contraction on the exhale. Pardon my itch. So inhale, calm. Let go of shock with chew. Inhale, calm. Let go of shock. Take a breath. Next is the liver. This is anger and forgiveness. The sound is shush, shh, wood element. Arms come up over your head. Breathe in forgiveness. Reach up, let go of anger with shush. Shh. Forgiveness on the inhale. Anger goes away with shush. Shh. One more. Shh. And then come on up. Arms relax down. Take a breath in. and out. Heart is next. Joy and hate. The sound is ha. Same movement with the arms overhead. Reach up. Let go of hate with ha. Inhale joy. Let go of hate. Inhale joy. And exhale hate. Arms come up. Down. Take a breath. Next is the spleen. Goes with your stomach. The experiences are worry and trust. The sound is WHO. Very gentle press, just a very gentle if you want. So inhaling trust. Let go of worry with inhale trust. Let go of worry. Inhale trust. Let go of worry. Take a breath. So there's a sixth sound. It goes with something called the triple burner, which you could contemplate as your thymus gland, but it's also the inner child that I had mentioned on the star bridge. The sound is he, H-E-E-E-E-E. And it's just a very gentle exhale. So what those six sounds do is they tune and tone our organs, but also if you like a sound healing moment, if you like an oscillation, if you enjoy a hertz frequency, a solfeggio, these operate that way for our organs through these meridians, through the interface of our skin itself and the mind. So these pathways on the body, this is a Chinese medicine anatomy figure. These pathways are called meridians. They're similar to the meridians on the earth, where we have latitude and longitude in order to figure out where things are on the planet. I'm so happy. I'm glad this is connecting dots. These are pretty much all longitude. They're pretty much all up and going up and down the body. I do, pardon me. Ooh. I do want to share, Lex, and anybody else. There's a $20 crash. I'm calling it a crash course. It is a media library I put together that has some of the ebooks and manuals that I've written recently that outline all of this, as well as guided practices and a whole tour. I call it the Nijing tour, but a tour of the Nijing 2, which is the way that Taoist alchemy visualizes our nervous system. I'm really happy that you felt that just from smiling. When I was first introduced to these practices, I was living in California. It was the 90s, so it was about 30 years ago. I had mentioned before, I don't fucking know what a feeling is, okay? I can barely tell if I'm hungry, but I know what a liver is. I know that I have a heart. I know that I have kidneys. And what I have found over the decades now, especially when I'm guiding folks in their bodies, is you will develop a direct relationship to the organ and whatever you're associating virtually, through virtuous virtue. You studied medicine. Well, this is Chinese medicine. But if you studied Chinese medicine, it's even possible that you weren't introduced to this because these practices are from something called Neidan, Neidan. Let me see if I have something I can write with. Just so you can see what the word is. So the philosophy is Taoism, which you're going to recognize right away as soon as I show it to you. And then what I'm doing, oh, cool. Well, then this is Neidan, Neidan. So the overall philosophy is Taoism, which is the yin and the yang, the on and the off, the what goes up must come down, masculine, feminine, living, not living, organic, not all the things. Okay, that's Taoism. This symbol represents the entire universe, the totality of everything. That's amazing. Within all of that, there are so many different healing systems, divination systems, martial arts, herbal arts, medical arts, art. There's so many. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've just been in love with this for so many years, decades. I just get lost in Chinese history. But my practice is called Neidan, Neidan. Neidan is inner alchemy. Neidan, of course I could teach. I'm getting ready to call a couple professors at universities, hoping that somebody will take me sincerely. The thing that I'm finding, that somebody had just asked me a question about quantum physics. What I have been, people are going to get so lost, okay? Quantum physics, as I understand it, is astrophysics on a very, very tiny little whatever. But the problem with physics, the problem with all science is nobody believes that tissue is alive. Nobody is studying humans as we are, which is dynamic, open, chaotic systems prone to entropy. We're prone to entropy, and this fucking medical model that we're all in now globally does not rely on gravity. The medical model relies on law, not gravity. Neidan relies on gravity. So what Neidan does, this inner alchemy, is based very much on the zeroth law of thermodynamics, which is negentropy, negative entropy, the opposite of collapse. And it's what happens when systems become more complex, not more controlled. So the distinctions could be the way carbon, somebody had just mentioned that we're carbon, the way carbon sometimes turns into a diamond and sometimes it turns into a bog, but it's still carbon. What Neidan does, at least as I'm sharing it, is I'm leveraging the mechanics of Chinese medicine, invasive, and I'm taking out all the needles, all of the medication, anything that would be invasive, because that's not what Nadon is. Nadon is fully non-invasive. It is the most peaceful alchemy I've ever experienced. Smiling to my liver. Oh, and by the way, the Schmex is amazing. Disharmonic energy does salute. I have no idea what that means. And as it relates to these pathways, those 6 healing sounds and the healing smile are a way for you and me to access this. It's flippin' magic. I don't know how many of you have experienced acupuncture directly. It's amazing. It's very, very subtle. I used it significantly when I had my cancer a few years ago, but we're able to access it without the needles. And these practices predate acupuncture. And the way it all works is through a matrix. This is a matrix made out of the I Ching, which is the main divination from China. Please do not ask me to be an I Ching master. Absolutely not. These are the hexagrams. Many folks, this does map to DNA, by the way, the 64 hexagrams, but you have to do it a very particular way, at least as I've been able to discern. From a psycho-emotional perspective, though, this matrix of the I Ching, that would be like the meta matrix of consciousness, of all possibility, of anything everywhere, not bound by space-time. Not bound. That is the realm of Shen. Shen as these magical, mystical entities that do the labor of Chinese medicine. Some of the Shen are named Shen, but any magical mystical that is helping you and me is a Shen. So in this chart of the inner landscape, look at all these allies we have. We have yin and yang. There's an ox herd doing some, what's that? Agriculture. Here's the weaver, the mender, the sower. There's the inner child on the star bridge. There's the Buddha. And this is Lao Tzu. He invented Taoism. These are like gods. These are deities. These are they're like spontaneously perfecting in all directions and all dimensions at all times and exist for our benefit. They're incredible the way that they're used medicinally. The way that they're used alchemically is equally incredible. So rather than, let's say, going into shadow work, and let's name all the 5 ways that your mother was horrible to you when you were 15, which you're welcome to, and all the things that came out of it, which we go for it if that makes you feel good, truly. You could also give kindness to the child. You didn't know many people talking about that in that way. I'm not sure what you're referencing. But let's give some kindness to the child. First, easiest way to do that is to smile to the child on the bridge with that inner smile. And I'm showing it to you like, this is the way that the alchemist would have used this, right? Oh, well, you know what? The way that I do Taoism is very unusual. I practice Taoism primarily as information science. Primarily as information science. That's one of the nerdy aspects of me. Smiling to the child on the bridge. This child on the star bridge, by the way, In the medicine wheel of Chinese medicine, get one of my things here. Hold on. This is the medicine wheel. You'll see this. I've written on it because I'm using it, but you'll see this at your acupuncturist office, the acupuncturist. This is the medicine wheel. This is fire, wood, water, metal, and earth. When you go around like this is called generating. Fire generates, wait, I'm doing it backwards. Wood feeds fire, fire makes earth, earth creates metal, water, wood. If you go through, okay, like you're doing a 5-pointed star, that controls or restricts. So water controls fire, and I do apologize for my writing here. Water controls fire. When Lao Tzu, what was that? What was I showing? Right now we're looking at the medicine wheel. The child on the star bridge lives in the middle of the star here. This is where the child lives. There's no space here. In this system, there is absolutely no place for CPR, life support, brain death, none of that. There's just no place for it. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. There's no space for it in this contemplation. If we want to maintain and sustain the child in the child's ideal form, which is liminal in nature. Is this what you wanted to see? I have posters of this, by the way, on my website. You're very welcome. I think this is called the Nijing 2. This is the chart from Chinese medicine that is used to invoke the Shen. This is also the shortcut to the golden elixir, the secret of the golden flower, enlightenment, the philosopher's stone, everything that you've ever heard about, all the everything in the ancients is here. Isn't that incredible? Most of my stuff will give you at least the English translation and a blank one so that you can use it like a coloring book. Yes, I can read it. I'll need to get a English translation now. Let me find one. I mean, if you were asking if I could read Chinese, the answer is no. My mother could, though. She had a PhD in this stuff. There are 3 zones to this chart: the head, the belly, and the heart. Those are the 3 zones we smile to in the inner smile, the healing smile. Smile to your belly, your heart, and your head. This up here is the Mountain of the 9 Peaks. It's called the Mountain of the 9 Peaks. This is the tallest peak. This is the hardest one to transverse. So what we're doing in the inner landscape is primarily contemplating the spine and our spinal fluid. The smiling begins that, oddly enough, with lifting the tongue here, and it'll turn on. You can see there's saliva visualized here. This is a very fluid kind of a thing. The pineal gland is here. This is called the sun. This is called the moon. Sun and moon, ha ta. Anybody in yoga, hatha yoga, sun and moon, hatha. This your jaw. Contemplate like a jaw bridge. This is called the 12-storied pagoda. It is very mostly translated as your throat. This is also, in Katie's understanding of the universe, one way to contemplate the 12 cranial nerves. And the one that we're the most attuned to as it relates to pain and suffering is the vagus nerve, that 10th nerve. But there are 12 nerves, so 12 cranial nerves. This is that star bridge, Milky Way. Child on the bridge with coins. This poem says, I devote myself to the cultivation of my field. Inside there's a sacred sprout alive since time began. Its flower is yellow gold. Its color is familiar. The seed is like a jade pearl. The fruit is always round. Fruition relies upon the earth of the central palace and irrigation from the upper valley spring. One day, the work is complete. The great Tao is realized. You wander carefree across the land as an immortal of Peng Lei. I have experienced the golden elixir. I'm not walking around as an immortal, but it's very fascinating. So the field that you're cultivating is this one. Fruition relies upon the earth at the central palace. This is the earth at the lower palace. This is the earth at the upper palace. This is actually the liver. That's our belly button. It's her. It's commerce. It's how we use our resources. It's how are we interacting with our environment. In a Western psychology sense, if you're familiar with the concept of a biopsychosocial model, which is where doctors are starting to actually contemplate like our environments. Thank you, doctors. Bio, psycho, social. So it's not always like a, but you can fit the 3 in here. Bio, psycho, social. So this whole bottom zone here, this poem says, yin and yang, the mysterious water wheel, continuously ascend and return, complete the circuit, sweep open the mountain pass, refine the water, flowing east from the depths of the bottomless pool, a response is felt. A sweet spring bubbles up from below and rises to the top of the southern mountain. Wow. Okay. All that's happening. How cool is that? The ox herd and the ox, this is often translated as the stomach. This is your spleen then. The Asgard tree. Is that like Thor? I don't know those folks. This is very much, can I tell you how aligned this is with as little as I understand about the Eye of Ra, though, and how the Egyptians are credited with understanding the brain that way, because that's the same area that you would contemplate as the Crystal Palace. The Crystal Palace. Crystals, like diamonds, like shiny, like prismatic on the inside. So this takes the whole concept of light and dark and turns it on its head in a way that will transform how you understand shadows. The pine cone all those geometries, all those geometries. Shadows in Taoist alchemy are the same as shadows in physics when the physicists are showing us what higher dimensions are, and they can only show it to us as a shadow. So I don't know if you've ever seen any of those demonstrations where there's like the cube and the cube, the hypercube or the tesseract. I don't understand. There's a lot of math involved in that, but the cube and the cube you can't look at because it's 4D, it's higher D, but they can show us what the shadow would look like on the ground. That's what a shadow is in Taoism. It's not the same thing as a shadow from Carl Jung, where it's something that is somehow dark and hidden, and we're to like uncover it and find it, and we don't want to see it. I mean, there's a lot of pain involved in shadow work. If you've ever engaged in it, it can be very painful. This has a tendency to be much more peaceful. And it's guiding us towards nuance and depth. Lucifer, I have no idea. I'm not a Christian Catholic. I'm not attuned at all to that. I was raised by atheists, queer artist, atheist, musician, weirdos. You had all kinds of ideas. All kinds of ideas. So these Shen, though, do you see how there are these entities in here? They help us. Lucifer is not a helping entity. Is Lucifer? I thought Lucifer was an issue. These are not issues in our tissues. These are allies to help us heal. And depending upon how we're going into the body, they'll take on different meanings. But generally speaking, the head is about the water element, is about, it would map to the salience network in the brain. This would map to all fluid in the body. Also, anything's possible, everything mind. We are so unbound by our minds and bound by our bodies, right? So the virtue of the head is humility. And I think I do. This is from one of the documents you get in your crash course. Humility in somatics means not seeking to dominate or be the foremost in physical or spatial terms, but moving through the world with a sense of respect and a willingness to be a part of a larger whole. It also entails recognizing the interconnectedness of our bodies and environment. That's a lot of words, but it's pretty, isn't it? It's not necessarily humility like, you know how people say that you're arrogant or you should be humble? Oh, no. It's not ego. That's what I want to make sure I'm getting here, okay? We're not talking about ego. Humility has to do with things like those of us who are in helping places, or if you're a massage therapist or any kind of another helper, we're operating within our scope of practice. Humility might have to do with something like how we're making the decisions that we're making. The virtues of Buddhism and Taoism, because that's what we're guided towards here. You could replace this with Islam, Christianity, Christian Science, physics, astrophysics, pagan, like whatever that is, because as wisdom, Lao Tzu is wisdom. And then we're given this idea of a Shen, I have my own Shen and you have your own Shen, just kind of like you would with a soul or a spirit. And it exists first in the mind, then in our experience. So again, we're just brought first and always back to the body somehow, even if it's just what you're looking at or what you're doing is guiding towards. This is so profoundly somatic. It is immediately in your body. You don't have to go through as many steps as you do with some of these other systems, and then you add to it. So like when folks are saying, where do you feel that in your body? If you're tuning to the lungs in the back, the kidneys in the back, your liver, your heart, your spleen, and we're rolling around on the ground together, you'll start just having more direct. You'll start looking. I've seen it. People go, oh, it's like, oh, that's right. It's happening there. Also, I would just like you to know, I don't believe there's a wrong answer to where I feel that in my body or what I'm feeling, regardless of what you think you see, whoever's doing the assessment. Meaning, like with pain, I can be in a lot of pain and look just fine. So how do you know that I'm in pain unless I tell you I'm in pain? This humility virtue is one way of just reminding you and me that what somebody else's truth is might just not match to what I'm interpreting or understanding, and that needs to be okay. Most of the time it really does. Look at that chaos. Let's just do that. I have a lot of chaos around me. Chaos. I really do need liquid in my mouth right now. Where is my... All right, let me go get some more water. I don't appear to have a water bottle with me. Wood horse. Wood is the element, man. Wood having to do with growth. Again, horse is one of the zodiacs. There are 12 zodiac signs in China. Please, I have to look at things to do your zodiac. But each zodiac happens one of 5 ways: fire, metal, water, wood, earth. So fire as an element is associated with like our vital, like the very most, the brightness of us. It's associated with compassion and kindness. I want to see what I wrote for you, so I'm not guiding you into weirdness. When you get, this is the kind of stuff you get. Nice big flashcards. You can hang these up. People keep these on their phone just so like you can like have it. And then they'll also text me like, what's the sound for this? Here we go. You also get flashcards like this. Just so you know, like I try to make it, I do have a background in instructional design. I'm just very chaotic on these lives. Oh, perfect. This is what I wanted to share with you. Some of these virtues. Hello, Jack. Norman, Jack's here. Mr. Norman, trying to wake me up from 4 a.m., sir. have to tell you. Fire. Direction is south. It is summertime, heat, hot. Fire is also going to be things like fevers. Fire is sometimes blood. Red as a color will sometimes also imply blood. Let me get my medical charts here so I can tell you. The fire element is associated with, so sorry, pardon me. This is very impractical, but you know what? Neither am I practical. Oh, I love this. Listen to this. The vocal sound for the fire is laughing. Vocal sound for earth is singing. La, 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 la is earth. Crying is metal. Metal is grief. Crying. Groaning is water. Oh, ow, or however you groan. Shouting is wood, which we're not going to do because it's an inside moment. I love that it's like granimals. It's like granimals. The water element in our bodies is very closely associated with our eyes, making water the primary component of our cranial nerves. Most of our cranial nerves go to it's something having to do with seeing or moving our eyes. More of them have to do with our eyes than not. So if you contemplate how water can be like, how shall I say? All water does on its own is exist. Like a wave only occurs because something happens in the water. Rain only happens because the water is up in the cloud. If water goes from the top, right, from the top level down to the lower level, it's the densest when it's fluid. It's less dense when it's frozen and much less dense when it's vapor. So a lot of what these vocalizations are doing, even with the groaning and the crying or the sounds, like the sound for the lungs as S, is they're bringing us down to sea level, down to ground. So you can contemplate ground in Taoist alchemy as sea level. Right? That would be where the land and the sea are pretty much the same. And how my body understands sea level and how your body understands sea level is going to be different based on where and when we were born. Somebody born in the Swiss Alps has a different relationship to sea level than somebody born in Samoa. But they're both human. I love that. I love that fire. I'm just looking here. The planet associated with fire is Mars. Uh-oh. Jack, your buddy's here. Hi, Norman. Come here. Come here. We have not met Norman yet. He is a tuxedo of terror. Where's my Norman? What did you do with mine? Hi. Hello. They just both woke up from their afternoon naps. Come here. Here we go. This is Norman. He's the handsome Bo Bansom. Do you want to do your healing sounds for your liver? It's shh. Shh. Oh, the baby. Shh. You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. Such a good boy. That's a baby. I think I'm just going to share this little moment here. I believe I'm experiencing some seasonal affective experience because it is 6:54 and I was just sincerely asking myself if it's late enough to get into bed. That is a sign. That is a sign the kitty needs to go. Make sure she goes out tomorrow during the day, even if it's gross. This is my kitty cat. When he was a little baby, his sister Darla is much less, what is the word, independent, I suppose, or she picked me. But when he was little, he would wake up alone and like freak out and come find me and lie down on me. But now he doesn't care so much. He just wants to be waited on. And Darla was walking around with tape on her butt today. That was hilarious. All right. I am definitely a fried girl, but I want to tell you, I'm going to show you some of what you get. These, you can't even read. You can't perceive this from what you're looking at. How do I describe? I can't. That's just where I'm at right now. I know, right? Why didn't I put my happy lamp on this morning, mister? I have enough full spectrum lighting. How you doing? He's so handsome. Neither of them like it when I sit on my own furniture. Do you have cats, animals like that? Come here. Yeah. You're a good boy. All right. Kitties. Kitty cats. I think this is, and it's coming to a natural close. I can tell I'm actually hungry. That's good. Healing smile. 6 healing sounds. I didn't want to do any kind of cleaning today because it's the first of the year, but I'm going to clear a little bit more space so that I have more room to do like full-on somatics with you, not just be shoved in the corner with my instruments. And also, if you like physics, there's a ton of that in this as well. I'm trying to keep them separate so that if you're just looking for relief, you can just get some relief. You don't have to go into the galactic. And the relief is that you exist. That's all you need. All you need to do any of this is existence. You don't need to have a certain amount of ability. You don't need to have, I'm trying to even like not make it money to access the yoga. So the free downloads in my link tree have all the essential practices in this. And these practices for the organs, again, they're just amazing. And it doesn't matter if you have the organs. So like if you've had gallbladder surgery, doing stuff for your liver is going to benefit what used to be your gallbladder. Right, kitties? Oh, this is Darla, if we haven't met Darla yet. Okay. It's time to go. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you're here. And then I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. I don't even know how to here we go.